Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin 111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare US coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. In the vast and captivating world of coin collecting, every now and then a story emerges that captures the imagination of both seasoned collectors and everyday people alike. Imagine holding a tiny piece of copper in your hand, just 1 cent in face value, and discovering that it's worth more than a luxury car, a college education, or even a house. That's the power and mystery behind some rare coins, and today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing examples, the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny from the year 1981. This unassuming coin, often overlooked in daily life, can hold secrets that turn an ordinary penny into a stunning collectible masterpiece. If you've ever searched your change jar or sorted through an old piggy bank, you may have held a piece of American history without even knowing it. Let's take a closer look at the year 1981, a time when the US was experiencing significant changes in politics, technology, and culture. It was also the final full year before a major transformation in the design of the Lincoln cent. While the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln continued to grace the obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial stood proudly on the reverse, there was a quiet transition underway at the U.S. Mint, one that would make some 1981 pennies more valuable than gold per ounce. At the heart of this transformation was a shift in how the coins were struck and how the designs were prepared. During this time, the Mint was phasing out the use of traditional hand-punched hub techniques in favor of newer technologies that allowed for sharper and more consistent images. As a result, both Type 1 and Type 2 proof coins exist from this year, with subtle differences in the clarity and appearance of the lettering and design elements. But the real magic lies in the rare varieties and exceptional conditions of certain 1981 pennies. Errors such as double die obverse, off-center strikes, and coins struck on the wrong metal planchets are what truly get collectors excited. These anomalies were not intended, of course. They were the result of mechanical hiccups or human oversight during production, but they have become highly prized due to their scarcity and uniqueness. Some pennies from this year have even been found struck on dime planchets or foreign coins, creating dramatic differences in weight and appearance. And let's not forget about the condition. Coins that were never circulated, kept in pristine shape, and preserved in airtight holders can command massive premiums, especially when certified by professional grading services with high mint state or proof grades. Another important factor contributing to the allure of the 1981 penny is that it was one of the last years when pennies were made primarily of copper. In 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned to a zinc core with a thin copper plating, making 1981 one of the final chapters of the true copper penny era. This change in composition adds another layer of historical significance to 1981 cents, especially for collectors who focus on metal content and minting history. Moreover, the Lincoln Memorial reverse design was eventually replaced in 2009, marking the end of an era that began in 1959. All of these factors, the changing technology, the end of solid copper coins, the rarity of certain minting errors, and the occasional proof varieties, combined to make the 1981 Lincoln cent one of the most fascinating coins for numismatists to explore. The thrill of discovering one of these valuable coins is what keeps the coin collecting hobby so lively and passionate. People across the country are digging through old rolls, checking their change, and sharing stories of the rare treasures they've uncovered. It's not just about money, it's about history, mystery, and the pure excitement of the hunt. And if you happen to come across a 1981 Lincoln penny with unique features or in flawless condition, you just might be holding a small fortune in the palm of your hand. In one particularly stunning case, a rare and perfectly preserved example of the 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny shocked the collecting world when it was sold to a private buyer for a jaw-dropping sum of $116,000. That's right, $116,000 for a single penny. It's a powerful reminder that even the smallest coin can hold incredible value, and that treasures often come in the most unexpected forms. Top 2. Have you ever thought about the humble penny in your pocket possibly being worth a small fortune? It's easy to dismiss a 1-cent coin as insignificant, something we pass over, leave in tip jars, or drop into change jars without a second thought. We're diving into a fascinating and overlooked piece of American coinage history, the 1985 Lincoln 1-cent penny. This isn't just any ordinary penny. Under the right conditions, this coin could be worth thousands of times more than its face value. Yes, we're talking about a coin that, if rare enough and preserved in the right way, could make headlines and spark a collector's bidding war. The 1985 Lincoln penny, despite its unassuming appearance, carries stories of minting quirks, hidden errors, and the enduring legacy of American currency design. The Lincoln cent has been an American staple since 1909, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. For decades, its design barely changed, featuring Lincoln's dignified profile on the front, and until 2008, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. By 1985, the cent was already undergoing subtle transformations due to technological advances at the U.S. Mint. Though the composition had changed from the original 95% copper to a predominantly zinc core with a thin copper plating starting in 1982, the tradition of the penny persisted. But it's these subtle manufacturing shifts and occasional minting errors that make specific years, like 1985, stand out among collectors. That's because even in mass production, mistakes happen. And those mistakes can be worth a fortune. In the case of the 1985 Lincoln penny, collectors have discovered several types of rare varieties and errors that command premium prices. One of the most exciting types is the double die obverse, a result of the coin's die imprinting the design twice in slightly different positions. This creates a ghost-like doubling effect on the date, letters, or Lincoln's profile itself. Such anomalies are highly desirable, not just for their rarity but for their visible and dramatic nature. Some 1985 pennies have also been found with off-center strikes, where the coin's design appears shifted or cut off, or with broad strikes and clipped planchets, which create odd shapes and edge textures that look nothing like a normal cent. Then there are transitional errors, where the wrong metal composition or die may have been used accidentally, adding to the coin's uniqueness. But it's not just error coins that bring attention. The overall condition of a coin plays a huge role in its value. A 1985 penny that has never been circulated, what collectors call mint state, with a high grade from a reputable certification service like PCGS or NGC, can be worth many times its face value, even without major errors. That's because it reflects a perfect example of the mint's work that year, and collectors are always hunting for the finest known specimens. And the 1985 penny is particularly appealing because it was made at a time when the U.S. Mint was refining its quality control, yet still produced occasional standout flaws or exceptional finishes. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint in this era may lack a mint mark, making it all the more important to inspect the design, finish, and weight carefully. Part of what makes the 1985 penny so captivating is the thrill of the unknown. There are countless coins still in circulation or tucked away in old coin jars that might have one of these rare features. You could have one right now and not even know it. That's why coin hunting remains such an exciting and rewarding hobby, because hidden treasures can be found in the most ordinary places. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, examining each coin for unique traits, like doubling, unusual coloration, or odd shapes, could lead you to discover something extraordinary. And with more people becoming aware of coin values through social media and auctions, demand for rare and pristine examples has skyrocketed in recent years. So the next time you receive change, pay close attention. Look closely at that 1985 penny. It might not just be a piece of loose change. Under the right circumstances, it could be a remarkable and rare find. In fact, one such 1985 Lincoln 1-cent penny, featuring an extraordinary mint error and certified in pristine condition, recently fetched the astonishing price of $95,000. That's right, $95,000 for a coin that most people would never look twice at. It just goes to show that sometimes, the most valuable things in life are hidden in plain sight. Top 3. Imagine stumbling upon a tiny coin in your change jar, the kind you've seen thousands of times before, and discovering that it's not just a simple penny, it's a hidden treasure. That's right, we're diving into a coin that's as familiar as it is fascinating, the 1985 Lincoln 1-cent penny. On the surface, it looks like any other copper-colored coin you might find at the bottom of your pocket or rattling around in a drawer. But beneath its modest appearance lies a world of intrigue, history, and potential value that could make you look at your pennies very differently from now on. The Lincoln penny, introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, has become one of the most enduring and recognizable coins in American history. Its iconic design, featuring the profile of the 16th president on the obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, at least until 2008, represents more than just 1 cent. It represents tradition, continuity, and a piece of history that millions of people interact with every day. But every so often, a coin breaks away from the ordinary, through a rare minting error, a limited production run, or a pristine condition, and becomes incredibly valuable to collectors and enthusiasts. The 1985 Lincoln penny belongs to that unique category of coins that have quietly captured the interest of numismatists around the world. At first glance, there doesn't seem to be anything special about it. It was minted in the millions and circulated widely across the country. However, thanks to a combination of factors, such as unexpected errors during production, striking anomalies, and a surprising number of surviving high-grade examples, the 1985 penny has gained a special status in the world of coin collecting. While most of these coins are worth just a cent, a few select examples have been found with characteristics that push their value far beyond what you'd ever expect. One of the reasons this coin is so captivating is because of the potential for rare die varieties and minting mistakes. Some 1985 pennies have been found with doubled dies, where the imprinting process during minting accidentally stamps the coin more than once, creating a ghostly doubling effect on the date or lettering. These doubled die errors are particularly prized by collectors because they are so visually striking and rare. Other valuable errors include off-center strikes, where the coin's design appears shifted or incomplete, and clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is literally missing due to a miscut before striking. These kinds of flaws, far from being considered imperfections, actually increase a coin's value due to their rarity and uniqueness. Another key to unlocking a penny's potential worth lies in its condition. A coin that has never been circulated, known as mint state, is far more valuable than one that has been passed from hand to hand over the decades. When collectors or dealers find a 1985 penny in exceptional condition, especially one that has been professionally graded at a high level by a service like PCGS or NGC, its value can skyrocket. It's the combination of rarity, error, and condition that turns a coin into a collectible treasure. But there's more to the story. The composition of the Lincoln penny changed just a few years before 1985, from mostly copper to a zinc core with a thin copper plating. This change in materials introduced new possibilities for transitional errors and striking anomalies, making the early to mid-1980s pennies particularly interesting to collectors. If a 1985 penny was struck using a leftover copper planchet, or if the plating process went awry, it could result in a coin that's not only different in appearance but also different in weight, an anomaly that collectors rush to acquire. What's truly exciting is that these rare finds often go unnoticed for years. They could be sitting in old jars, passed along in everyday change, or forgotten in drawers. That's why coin hunting has become such a thrilling and rewarding hobby for so many people. Every coin is a mystery waiting to be solved, and with a keen eye and a little knowledge, anyone can discover something extraordinary. The 1985 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of this, an ordinary coin hiding an extraordinary story. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for, the value. While the vast majority of 1985 Lincoln pennies are worth only face value, there are those few exceptional examples that defy expectations. Whether through a rare mint error, a perfect uncirculated condition, or a combination of both, one such 1985 penny has stunned collectors by reaching a staggering final price of $105,000. That's right, what most people see as a simple, everyday coin was actually a priceless artifact to the right buyer. So next time you come across a penny from 1985, take a moment to examine it closely. You might just be holding a small piece of history worth a small fortune. Top 4. Every coin has a story, but some stories are far more captivating than others, especially when that tiny piece of metal might just change your life. Let's journey into the fascinating world of one of America's most iconic coins, the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny. At first glance, it might look just like any other penny you've handled countless times. But what if I told you that lurking among these seemingly ordinary coins is a version so rare, so extraordinary, that it has commanded the attention of serious collectors and sold for an eye-popping price? That's right. The humble 1971 penny could be worth more than a luxury car or even a down payment on a house. Introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the Lincoln penny is the longest-running coin design in United States history. Its timeless image of President Lincoln on the obverse, paired with the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse through the years leading up to 2008, is not just a tribute to one of America's greatest leaders but also a staple of everyday commerce. Millions of these pennies have been produced every year for over a century, including in 1971. But what makes a 1971 penny so special? The answer lies in the fascinating realm of mint errors, die varieties, and pristine conditions that transform an everyday coin into a collector's dream. To understand what makes the 1971 penny so intriguing, we need to dig into the nuances of how coins are made. Every penny minted goes through a complex process involving dies, planchets, and striking machines, all of which are designed to produce uniform, flawless coins. But once in a while, something goes wrong. And when it does, the result can be spectacular for collectors. Some 1971 Lincoln pennies have been discovered with double die errors, where the image or text appears slightly duplicated due to a misalignment during the minting process. These errors are particularly sought after because they are not only visually striking but also incredibly rare. Then there are the 1971 pennies that have retained their mint luster and sharp details over decades, known as mint state or uncirculated coins. These are pennies that have never been in circulation, never jostled around in pockets or piggy banks, and never exposed to the wear and tear that erases detail and value. When these coins are preserved in near-perfect condition and authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, their worth increases dramatically. Combine this with a rare error, and you've got a coin that collectors will pay top dollar to. In 1971, the U.S. Mint produced pennies at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, No Mint Mark; Denver, D Mint Mark; and San Francisco, S Mint Mark. Each mint had its own quirks and variations. For instance, pennies with the S Mint mark from San Francisco were often struck with greater care for collectors, but they too were not immune to minting errors. Some of the most valuable 1971 pennies have emerged from these slight differences in production and the occasional mechanical mishap that resulted in a highly prized error coin. Let's also not forget about transitional errors, coins struck using planchets, or dies intended for a different year or metal composition. While these are rarer, when they do occur, they create coins that are instantly recognized as unique. Some 1971 pennies, for example, have surfaced on experimental planchets or with incorrect weights, making them even more attractive to those in the numismatic community. It's a thrilling thought that the coin sitting quietly in a drawer or jar in your home might actually be one of these hidden gems. And here's where things get truly exciting. A select few of these 1971 Lincoln 1-cent coins, particularly those showcasing rare errors or preserved in flawless condition, have shocked collectors and investors alike by fetching sky-high prices at auctions. After all, rarity, historical value, and condition are the perfect storm that defines a coin's true worth. It's not just about the year, it's about what's unique within that year's minting history. So what does that mean for you? If you have a 1971 penny tucked away somewhere, it might be time to take a closer look. Examine it for any unusual features, doubled letters, off-center strikes, or signs of a different metal. Check the condition. Is the detail sharp and the shine intact? It could be worth submitting to a professional grading service, especially if you suspect it's something special. Because among the millions of 1971 pennies in existence, one extraordinary example has sold for a breathtaking total of $126,000. That's right, what was once worth just a single cent became a six-figure windfall. A powerful reminder that sometimes, the smallest things can hold the greatest value. Top 5. Imagine holding a simple penny in your hand, something so common, so easily overlooked, that we barely think twice about it. Now imagine that same little coin could be worth a life-changing fortune. That's the incredible reality for certain versions of the United States of America Lincoln 1-cent penny from the year 1982. To most people, a 1982 penny is just a coppery coin tossed into a change jar or dropped in a parking lot. But to coin collectors and numismatists, this year holds a fascinating and complex place in American coin history. And if you're lucky enough to come across a rare variety, your tiny coin might just be worth a staggering amount of money. The year 1982 was a turning point for the Lincoln cent. Up until that year, these pennies were traditionally made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But as the cost of copper began to rise sharply, it actually became more expensive to produce a penny than the coin was worth. In response, the U.S. Mint made a monumental change, switching from the copper composition to a new zinc-based planchet coated in a thin layer of copper. This transition wasn't as simple as flipping a switch. In fact, the change happened in the middle of 1982, resulting in the production of both copper and zinc pennies that year, making 1982 one of the most complex and intriguing years in Lincoln penny history. To make things even more interesting, the 1982 Lincoln cent was produced in no less than 7 different varieties. That includes large date and small date versions, in both copper and zinc, and minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. That means if you're searching through your change for a valuable penny, 1982 gives you more chances than most years to strike gold, figuratively speaking. The key to unlocking the value of these coins lies in understanding their weight and design. Copper pennies weigh about 3.11 grams, while the newer zinc ones weigh around 2.5 grams. So a digital scale is one of your best tools in identifying which version you might have. But what really sets some of these 1982 pennies apart is not just their composition or size, but minting errors that occurred during this transitional period. Some rare 1982 pennies have been found with fascinating and valuable mistakes, like being struck on the wrong metal planchet, or having a mismatched date size for the metal type. These error coins are extremely rare, and they're what collectors dream about. They offer a snapshot of a moment in U.S. Mint history when changes were being made fast, and a few extraordinary mistakes slipped through the cracks. In the numismatic world, condition is also everything. A 1982 penny in circulated condition might not be worth much beyond face value unless it has a rare error. But a 1982 Lincoln cent in uncirculated or mint state condition, especially with a known error or rare metal composition, can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Now, imagine combining a rare composition with an error and pristine condition. That's the perfect trifecta, and the result can be truly astonishing when the coin hits the auction block. One of the most talked about discoveries in recent years is a 1982 small date penny made from bronze, a composition that was not supposed to exist for that variety. This coin defied expectations and rewrote what collectors believed was possible from the 1982 minting year. Just a few confirmed examples of this coin have surfaced, and they've quickly become some of the most sought-after coins in the hobby. The existence of such coins fuels the dreams of collectors and treasure hunters across the nation, all hoping to uncover their own little slice of numismatic history. So what should you be looking for? If you have a 1982 penny, start by examining the date. Compare it with known examples of large and small date designs. Then weigh it. This step is crucial. If you find a 1982 small date penny that weighs 3.11 grams, you might just be holding a unicorn. And don't forget to check for signs of doubling, off-center strikes, or other errors that could boost its value even more. Coins that have been verified, graded, and sealed by top grading services like PCGS or NGC can fetch incredible prices from collectors who are always on the hunt for rare and historical pieces. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and it's often the most unexpected coins that hold the greatest treasures. What seems ordinary might just be extraordinary. So before you toss that penny aside or drop it into a vending machine, take a closer look, especially if it's from 1982. Because one very special example of the 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny has been confirmed to sell for an unbelievable sum of $98,000. Let that sink in. What was once just a single cent could become a small fortune, waiting to be discovered in the palm of your hand.